Good morning. Welcome to the daily random talk for Wednesday, 30th of October 2024. The theme is behavior and activities of departing British colonialists from the colonies. Focused mainly on a video I had uploaded some time ago on YouTube regarding British colonial rule departure from Kenya, Malaysia, and Yemen, which were all messed up. I am a person who was born and brought up in Kenya. My grandfather was also born in Kenya, and my family and my ancestors, including my great grandparents, have lived on the Swahili coast for over 150 years. So for us, Kenya is home. The Kenya Swahili coast also has a lot of people of Yemeni descent who have settled here, basically from the area known as Hadramuti. And I am a person of Indian ethnic origin who originally came from India. So I have a good connection with Asia also. So let us get back to today's talk. I was just giving the context of today's talk. Kenya's independence was fought, and it was bloodily fought. There was a Mau Mau rebellion. I believe it was regarding the land question primarily, because as we understand, the land tenure system in the UK and in Africa are very different, or were very different, and our societies were in Africa were oral societies, communal societies, rather than based on literate societies based on title deeds and those kind of things. And also land was more like communally owned by tribes, and then within the tribes also they would be owned by clans, and among the clans they would be owned by some families, and then individual bomas within the families within that area reserved for the clan. There was no title deed system or something like that. The British colonialists issued title deeds and to the settlers, and the settlers had huge farms, and suddenly the African native in Kenya and other African countries was now landless because he did not have a piece of paper called a title deed. He did not ownership of that land. It was fought by the native African. It was brutal, and the British response was also brutal and monstrous. Yes, the African natives under the name Mau Mau slaughtered settler families, including women and children, and the British authorities, administration reacted accordingly also. A state of emergency was declared in 1952. However, later on it became apparent that independence had to be given because during the Second World War, a lot of the Africans had also been made to fight alongside Indian and other Commonwealth soldiers. Some of them were quite advanced in the independence movements, like Indian movement. The Indian independence movement was far advanced. It existed for almost, I would say, 80 to 90 years before the start of the First World War. They wanted something called Swaraj, meaning self-rule, like in the dominions of Canada and Australia. It was the original thing. But after the First World War, Second World War, it became they had to go. In Kenya and Malaysia also there was armed rebellion. In Yemen also there was an armed rebellion. They were controlling basically the area around Aden and whatnot. Yes, there was a brutal thing, and it was barbaric by the British, even according to their own standards. Why? Because if you read that historical video, if you go through that historical video, which I'll post in the description and in the comment section, you realize that even the questions were asked about in the Commons, the Parliament of the United Kingdom, and there was lying there also. Things were not given between the Foreign and Commonwealth Office also. There was evidence found in the National Archives of the UK that there were given instructions to destroy the evidence, sink the evidence of what had happened, so that in future nobody finds out what really happened in the depths of the Indian Ocean, which was very sad. The same thing happened in Malaysia, destruction of the evidence of the brutal reaction of the British administration, and even in Yemen. See, if it was only the brutality, it takes two to tango. Or you do not clap with one hand. We agree on that. So this is simply an apology would have sufficed in the Commons and to the people of Kenya by the British administration. However, what is unacceptable and wrong done by the British administration, which was a deliberate cover-up, concealment of the activities and what they did, because they knew their own people, their own human rights inclined members of the House of Commons, members of Parliament, and members of the public would not have accepted that kind of behavior by the British administration in the colonies. But remember one thing, that was what was wrong. That is why it hurts. So today, a lot of the evidence, volumes and volumes of paper was destroyed, burnt maybe, and they were also given instructions to sink those which cannot be sunk in the depth of the Indian Ocean. It is very sad, the cover-up. Let us also understand what brought down President Nixon's administration and presidency in the United States. We say it is the Watergate scandal. Watergate scandal was just a botched up theft attempt. However, what was unacceptable was the cover-up. Secondly, what brought down Arthur Anderson in the post-Enron era? No, it was not that they made an audit mistake. If it was simply a mistake in the audit opinion, it would have been found, maybe they would have been fined, they would have been allowed to survive as a firm. However, what was wrong, ethically and morally, was Arthur Anderson went about destroying the evidence, the working papers, and those things by shredding them up, etc., giving such kind of instructions about the Enron papers were destroyed. So there is no way to know how the opinion was arrived at. That was what is wrong, which is a cover-up, and a cover-up is ethically and morally and possibly even legally unacceptable. What is unacceptable is a cover-up by the British departing colonial administration. Hence, we hold the United Kingdom accountable and responsible for the deaths and the subsequent cover-up. And hence, the United Kingdom can no longer hold its head up in the community of world nations as a morally upright society. The United Kingdom should be made to pay a visible price for the misdeeds in the colonies. The misdeed is not only the brutality, barbarous, monstrous activities, and the deaths caused to the Kikuyu and other native peoples of Kenya, Malaysia, and Yemen, but the cover-up of the evidence. We shall visit the potential price the United Kingdom has to pay on Friday. Thank you.